Hello and welcome to another online video tutorial for maths. Today I want to look at subtraction. We're going to look at two different methods for subtraction. First of all, we're going to look at the method of a number line. Let's take, for example, the numbers 21 subtract 13. Now, many of you may have thought about this in your heads previously and just counted on from 13 to 21. That's great. But how can we look at that more graphically, just so we can represent what we're actually doing? So, if we put it onto a number line and start with 13 and then we work all the way up to 21, we need to figure out how many jumps we take from 13 to 21 and are there any quick ways. So, I know that if I take 2 jumps, I can go up to 15. And from 15 I can take 5 jumps all the way up to 20, and then finally from 20 up to 21 is 1 jump. I now need to put together all of the jumps and that'll give me the total. 2 add 5 add 1 is 8. The answer for 21 subtract 13 is 8. Okay. Now we've got that clear in our mind, let's look at an alternative. Let's look at the column subtraction methods. Let's try the numbers 900, still got it unread, 976, now looking a bit 3D, subtract 263. We lay the first number on the top, 976, and we then lay the second number in order below it. We're still looking at the units, the tens and the hundreds. So I'm going to go look at the 362 of the 263. And then we put a little subtract symbol this time so we know that it is subtract. We start off on the units line. The first number to subtract is 6, and to take away from that is 3. 6 subtract 3 is 3. Then we look at the tens column. 7 subtract 6 is 1. And finally, onto the hundreds column, we look at 9 subtract 2, and that is 7. If we can't think about how to do it, we could just count on. We can put 2 into our heads and we can count up to 9. Let's try that. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And by using my fingers, I can tell that I've got 7 gaps. That's what we're doing when we're looking at subtraction. We're looking for the difference between. Another word for subtraction is difference. So the answer is 7. The total answer for our question here is 713. Okay, let's look at a slightly more complex subtraction. Let's try and get rid of all of these numbers, see if I can. And we will look at the idea that we have numbers greater than 5 to subtract, which get a little bit more complicated. 7, 4, 3, subtract 3, 8, 5, 6. Oops, it's a 6. It's definitely a 6. We put the first number on the top again, remembering to lay them out underneath each other correctly. So we've got the units, the tens and the hundreds again. 8, 3. Put the subtract symbol and put the lines underneath so we know where the answer is. This time we have a 3 and we need to subtract a 6 from it. Unless we wanted to go into negative numbers, that isn't possible. So we need to do what's called borrowing. So we borrow from the tens column. So I cross out my 4 and make it a 3. And I take the 1 difference over here and I make this the units of 13. 13 subtract 6 is much more simple. That's 7. Now I have in the tens column a 3 to subtract 8 from. Again, I don't have enough, so I have to look in the hundreds column. I look at the 7. And I get 7, and I borrow 1, so I take it down to 6, and I pop the 1 over here. So it becomes 13. 13 subtract 8 is 5. And then I've got remaining in the hundreds column is 6, subtract 3, which gives me 3. The answer to 743 subtract 386 is 357. Okay, thank you for watching. Check out my other online video tutorials. Goodbye.